A cold shower every day for 30 days. It feels brutal, but the first blast spikes your norepinephrine 4 times above normal. What actually changes by day 30, though, is not what the internet promised. The first seconds under cold water hit like a jolt. Heart rate jumps by 15 to 25 beats per minute almost instantly. Lungs gas for air, driving ventilation up by 30% as the body scrambles to adjust. Pulse oximeter displays flash numbers that look more like a sprint than a shower. Blood vessels clamp down, skin prickles, and every nerve seems to fire at once. The cardiovascular system surges, pushing blood to the core, while breathing turns sharp and shallow. These numbers aren't just background noise, they are the body's raw, involuntary response to sudden cold. The shock is measurable, not just felt. For anyone staring down the first icy blast, the spike is real, and it's written in the data: a racing heart, rapid breaths, and a system on full alert. This is the body's opening move, fast, automatic, and impossible to ignore. Seconds after the skin hits cold water, the body's chemical messengers surge. Norepinephrine levels jump 2 to 4 times above baseline, flooding the bloodstream with a jolt that sharpens focus and heightens every sensation. This is not a subtle shift. Adrenal glands fire off a warning shot, pushing alertness to its peak. Cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, spikes by 30%, amplifying the sense of urgency and discomfort. Participants clutch their visual analog scale boards, hands shaking as they mark discomfort at the maximum end of the scale. The numbers are unmistakable, a hormonal cocktail that feels like pure electricity. This chemistry is why the first cold shower feels so intense, a full body alarm that primes muscles, nerves, and mind for action. For a brief window, energy feels limitless. But the question lingers: can this chemical rush last, or does the body learn to adapt when the cold becomes routine? Within the first week, the body begins to show signs of adjustment. Heart rate, which soared during those first icy seconds, now spikes less with each new shower, dropping from a jump of 25 beats to something closer to 15. Breathing, once ragged and shallow, settles into a steadier rhythm. Charts from participants reveal a subtle but consistent downtrend. The autonomic storm of day 1 gives way to a more controlled response by day 7. Norepinephrine, the chemical behind that initial surge of focus and discomfort, starts to level off. Urinary measurements show that after a sharp rise, norepinephrine output falls back toward baseline by the end of the first week. Even the discomfort scale, the VS board clutched in shaking hands, shows a measurable drop. What felt unbearable on day 1 now registers as a 6 instead of a 10. These numbers do not mean the cold stops feeling cold, but the body's alarm bells ring less loudly, and the data suggests it is learning, at least a little, to cope. By the start of week 2, something shifts beneath the surface. The shock never fully disappears, but a different pattern emerges. A sense of control begins to edge out panic. Participants talk about a new kind of willpower, the ability to step into discomfort on purpose and not just survive it, but use it. Scientists call this HPA axis conditioning, the idea that repeated cold exposure trains the body's stress system to react less violently, dialing down the alarm with each session. In practice, this translates to a measurable drop in depressive symptoms. Across 14 randomized trials, the PHQ-9 score falls by an average of 1.4 points after a month. Mood lifts, even if only slightly, and the daily struggle against the urge to quit starts to feel like a win. Anecdotes pile up about unexpected discipline. People report sticking to workouts, eating better, or simply feeling more capable throughout the day. The discomfort becomes a tool, not just a hurdle. This isn't magic, but it's not hype either. The numbers suggest a real, if modest, mental edge, one that keeps people coming back, curious about what else might change by day 30. Resting metabolic rate does not stay static under cold water. After 2 weeks of daily cold showers, indirect calorimetry reveals an average increase of 73 kilocalories burned per day. enough to offset a small snack, but not a full meal. PET-CT imaging goes deeper, showing a 12% rise in brown fat activity measured by standardized uptake value in the supraclavicular region. This is not just a fleeting spike. The change persists as long as the routine continues. Thermography stills from participants highlight subtle but real shifts in heat production across the collarbones. The numbers are precise, not dramatic. A modest but measurable metabolic lift, rooted in biology, not hype. Office workers stepping into cold showers every morning did not just report sharper focus, they showed up to work more often. In a randomized trial of nearly 4,000 participants, those who took daily cold showers for 30 days logged a 20% drop in self-reported sick days compared to the warm shower group. The difference was not subtle. The average cold shower participant missed less than 1 day of work that month, while their colleagues averaged more than 1 day lost. Yet, when researchers checked the scales, weight barely budged and body composition stayed almost the same. The real-world effect was not dramatic fat loss or muscle gain, but fewer absences and a quiet, measurable boost to daily attendance. That result matters in the grind of office life. Cold showers promise discomfort and maybe a sharper mind or mood, but science draws the line. Adaptation is real. Miracles are not. The real test is whether discomfort still feels worth it tomorrow. What is your verdict?